Alright guys, good morning. So it's going to be a quick breakdown, but I really wanted to jump on here and make a proper video breakdown because I think you guys can see that a lot of things change. And this massive dump right here inside of our buy model, and you're talking about this original consolidation right here, price was about to complete the buy side of the curve right here. It came, as you guys can see, around 40 pips close and reversed right here, pulling back a little bit. And then we had this massive dump, this almost 200 pip candle right here. And that is caused because on Sunday, what we had, it's a massive trade deal that was signed by US and Europe. So here on Monday, when market opened, you can see how price reacted to this deal. You can see that it literally plummeted. And the reason for that is obviously because dollar pushed to the upside. So if you go to the 4-hour or 1-hour time frame, you can see that dollar reacted very, very positively to this trade deal right here. And here right now, it's not an inverted dollar chart. You can see how it started climbing right after the open. So yeah, fundamental reasons sometimes mess our whole picture up, our whole development up. The good part is obviously that we still manage to take some trades inside of this buy side of the curve. I think you guys remember that we managed to catch a quick short position trading towards this daily bullish order block right here. So in other words, we took advantage of the sell side of the curve and we took advantage of the buy side of the curve as well. I personally managed to take 3 positions, 1 break even and 2 wins right here. But again, as mentioned, now we are forced to zoom out from this entire picture because price is very clearly targeting this sell side liquidity now. It's almost guaranteed that price will sweep this reversal point that was acting as our key area, key reversal, building the buy side of the curve, etc. So thinking that price just right from here going to shoot to the upside, that's like 0.01% chance of that happening. So again, what we are forced to do is zoom out from here, and it doesn't mean that the entire bullish picture here on the euro dollar changes. It doesn't mean that at all. What again we are forced to do is zoom out. So then we are having a clear order flow, let's say on 1 time frame. This is an old lesson that we talked about quite a few times already. When we have price following 1 order flow right here, and what we have here is a very clear daily time frame bullish order flow, price leading lows, retracing, bullish PDA rejected, another bullish expansion seeking for buy side liquidity, price retraces into bullish fair value gap, into bullish order block right here, gives another expansion. And as you guys know that sometimes when we have a clear order flow on 1 time frame, sometimes it gets broken for whatever reason. Sometimes it's fundamental, sometimes there's just not enough momentum to continue that order flow and price gets overextended. And that's when you get that deeper pullback. And so where price pulls back in these type of scenarios, it pulls back to a higher time frame PDA. So if let's say this whole annotation is on daily time frame, what we start looking for in regards of the bullish PDA that we talked about is on a higher time frame, because price will break this daily bullish order flow to seek for a bigger PDA, a bigger liquidity pool line. Weekly time frame, monthly time frame, it will seek for that, bottom out, and eventually another bullish daily time frame order flow will kick in. And that order flow will continue, eventually it will top out. And if the target, the main BR target is not reached, we will see another major pullback, price breaking that daily time frame bullish PDA. It will bottom out inside of a higher time frame PDA and continue building the daily time frame order flow again. So this is how market moves. There's nothing we can change about it. And in this case, we can see that it wasn't technical. Everything was aligning very nicely. However, the massive trades deal between US and Europe caused this massive run right here. So now what you are focusing on is obviously this sell side liquidity here. It will get reached. I mean, it should get reached unless some miracle happens and price reverses, but you can see that it's nicely approaching the sell side liquidity here. So what we don't want to do now is focus on daily time frame bullish PDAs, because you can see that daily time frame bullish PDAs has been broken, meaning that daily time frame bullish order flow has been broken. So what we want to look at now is weekly time frame. And to make it very clear for you guys, the weekly bullish order flow is still very much present. And what I'm talking about, this bullish fair value gap rejection right here, price rushes higher. Then it retraces into weekly bullish fair value gap again and rushes higher once more. And now what we have is this low and this high. So without me even saying that, I think you guys can see that we have a deering going here on the weekly time frame. This is our bigger picture. This is our discount. And now what we want to do, I think the target was here. Yes, the daily level was taken out. So what we want to do here now from the weekly time frame perspective is firstly recognize the main drawn liquidity, that the main level that you are targeting are these equal highs right here. So this is our current drawn liquidity, current level that you're aiming towards. Then we have this bearish imbalance as our second level. So the low of it, the consequent encroachment of it. And lastly, obviously, we'll target these monthly equal highs right here. So these are our main targets targets on the upside. So price completely reversing from here wouldn't make a lot of sense really. This is why the zoom out and what we see is a clear weekly time frame bullish order flow. So what we focus on are PD rays inside of this expansion right here. From the weekly time frame perspective, I think you guys can see that we don't have very clear bullish PD rays. This downside candle, this bullish order block right here, you can see that price already reacted to it and it's retracing lower now. So what likely will happen? These lows right here, you can see this round formation, one candle here and another candle slow being a little bit higher. What we have is round formation. I guys know that price often seeks for these type of round formations. So from weekly perspective, it's not so clear, but from daily time frame perspective, it will have as a short-term sell side liquidity pool. So we have that. Now, what do you want to do inside of this dealing ranges expansion? Inside of this dealing range, we want to find a clear PD rate. So if we go to the monthly time frame, I think you guys can see that we don't have much. Then what we have below the weekly time frame is 6 days time frame. So now you can see how the whole picture becomes extremely clear, extremely crisp. So what we have here is one clear bullish order block. We have these two consecutive downside candles right here, and we have this clear bullish order block. So let's make it a little bit more clear right here. This is what we will focus on for now. And again, if price after retracing into it will start bottoming out, this is when you will look for another buy model right here. Obviously, this will become a lot bigger daily time frame buy model. But again, what we will follow from here is weekly time frame bullish order flow. We will look to take advantage inside of the sell side of the curve and on the buy side of the curve right here. Original consolidation staying the same level right here. So now if we go, let's say, to the 5-day time frame, 4-day time frame, 3-day time frame, you can see that we don't have any clarity from that part. So you don't need to change anything from that point. We can mark for ourselves that what we have here is a 6-day time frame bullish order block. If we would measure the weekly time frame OT level to stack confluence, we can also add the weekly OT level here as well. So using bodies of candles from this low to this high right here, this is our zone right here from 0.72 to 0.79. You can mark this area. So this is where we will look for price to retrace into. Again, obviously, anything can happen. Price can recover quickly, bottoming out here and shooting for buy side liquidity right away. So we will keep our eyes open. But from what we have right now, from the current picture, as the daily bullish order flow was broken, what we need to do is zoom out, see that we have clear bullish order flow here on the weekly time frame, as well as clear bullish targets sitting right above. Because remember, if all of these targets would have been swept right here, and then we would see this massive breakdown, then obviously we would look for a way deeper pullback right here, a full reversal, if price would start showing such momentum to the downside. But in this case, what we have is a very clear bullish dealing range right here, clear discount, bullish hard time frame PD race aligning inside of it. What we have is OT zone right here as well. So that's where we will look for price to retrace into. So if we drop to the daily time frame now, these are the lows that you talked about on the weekly time frame as well as this round formation. So it's likely that price could continue sweeping this sell side liquidity pool as well as some of this sell side liquidity pool, all of this round formation, low resistance type of delivery right here. And from the daily time frame perspective, likely what will happen, notice price here from the daily time frame perspective, set up some buy side liquidity, didn't give us continuation, instead it gave us a tail. After the trades deal, we saw this massive expansion to the downside. It took out the sell side liquidity pool. It left what likely will close as a BPR right here. Once this day closes right here as well, we really have this bearish imbalance as well. So likely we will see price retrace into this imbalance and then continue dropping lower. So this is where we will look to take advantage of short opportunities. And on the way, as mentioned, we will firstly look at this level right here, being at 1.14463. So that is the picture here, talking about the higher time frames. We had to touch on this part, obviously, because of all the events that been taking place here. We can mark right away this potential bearish fair value gap. If price closes something like that, talking about today's daily candle, from here again, we will likely see price just retrace into it and continue dropping lower. In this delivery right here to the downside, what we will look for will be smaller market maker buy models from the 15-minute and 1-hour time frame perspective. So this is what you will be looking for on the way towards the discount right here and the sell side liquidity. So that stays the main plan. If you will drop to the 1-hour time frame, on the 1-hour time frame and full hour time frame, I think you guys can see that not much is really taking place. Absolutely no clarity. Our bullish order flow was broken right here inside of this buy side of the curve. So this area right here will become a buy side liquidity target later on. But what we will need to do for price here is likely to retrace into this daily bearish fair value gap, as mentioned, give us a sell model fractal right here, where we will look for sell opportunities and then continue doing exactly that, retrace higher, possibly give us a fake low, deliver another 1-hour 1-hour/15-minute sell model, where we will look for short opportunities again. Once it enters this area right here, we will move to the sidelines and see if price wants to bottom out once again away from this bullish higher time frame PD race. From there, what we will look for is another, as mentioned, bigger type of a buy model right here, using this old buy sign liquidity as our original consolidation again. From here, obviously, after that, we will look to target the weekly equal highs that been our main target on the upside, and then the low of the weekly bearish fair value gap, as well as the consequent encroachment. But we are far away from that. What we need to focus on from this point is this price action, and we really don't have a lot. You guys can see that we can't look for longs aiming for this daily bearish fair value gap because it wasn't confirmed yet. We need for Tuesday to close, giving this middle candle before we could look for potential long scalps towards the daily bearish fair value gap. From here, obviously, we would focus on the short opportunities as mentioned before. Also, another reminder that we have Form C and NFP aligning its head of 1 week. So obviously, this is our last trading day of this week, and very likely from the looks of it, we won't get anything here because again, after yesterday's massive 200 pip drop, after the US and Europe made a trade deal, our buy side of the curve of this buy model was broken, and something that we looked for likely on Monday and Tuesday, which would have been a continuation towards the original consolidation, that plan was broken, and what we are forced to do is obviously adapt to the current situation, and the current situation I just explained. So that is that. We'll keep you guys updated, and we will talk very soon.